Hi folks, Nathan Pierce here with a update on what's going on here at the Capitol in Sacramento, and we're talking about a couple of events that we're dealing with right here in Sacramento. We've got our Capitol Day happening in just a few days, and so you're welcome to join us for that. A little more on that later. Then also I wanted to update you on Prop 50 and the court cases involved in that redistricting thing. So let's get into it. Welcome to the Front Line with FPM, where we talk about California politics, homeschool freedom, parental rights, and the family. I'm your host, Nathan Pierce, and thanks for joining us today. Let's jump right in and see what's going on here on the Front Line. So to start with, I want to talk about this redistricting decision, the court decision on the Prop 50 court case that's been going on over the last It's been going on since practically the election when it was passed, the Prop 50 voter-approved ballot measure that allows mid-decade changes to California's congressional map aimed at boosting Democrat seats. And that was ruled by a federal three-judge panel to uphold the new congressional map. But there's a couple of interesting aspects about it too. It can be, according to this panel, this latest ruling means that it can be used for the 2026 election. However, both sides seem like they're expecting this to go to the Supreme Court, and so we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But the court ruled 2-1 that this map was politically partisan, but not unconstitutional or racial gerrymandering. It was their ruling was consistent with a 2019 court decision saying federal courts typically can't block partisan gerrymandering. So the case came about when the Republicans and the U.S. Justice Department sued, claiming that the map was violating constitutional protections. And so this ruling, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Again, it's supposed to go to the Supreme Court theoretically. So why does that matter? It does matter because it would change the shape of what Congress looks like at the federal level. It's not changing districts here in California, California state legislative districts. It's changing districts at the federal level in the United States Congress. So it would have really big impacts on who gets control of the U.S. House in 2026. California's plan is part of a broader national organized push to redraw maps and try to gain some ground for either side. There's just kind of been a back and forth going on with that. So that's an update on Prop 50 and the court cases, or this court case going on with that. So we'll have to wait and see. Pray for the U.S. Supreme Court and those involved in arguing this, and that God would give wisdom where it's needed, and that we would trust Him no matter what happens. Next, we have Capitol Day coming up next week. I wanted to remind you of that and encourage you, if you haven't applied and joined in through the registration process to Capitol Day, you can, there's still part of Capitol Day you can participate in, even though the registration is closed at this point. You can still join us on the Capitol Steps. Now, the Capitol Steps at 12:30 is where we will have demonstrations of, we'll have different speeches happening, advocacy-oriented speeches from legislators, from a couple of our Capitol Day speakers like Kevin Bowden from HSLDA. Attorney Kevin Bowden will be there joining us, as well as STOA Director Linda Sloniker is also going to be joining us there, and there will be a few others giving speeches on the Capitol steps as well. You can also see presentations from students, as well as project presentations that will be on display there on the Capitol grounds also. So I would encourage you to check that out from 12:30 to 2:30 on the Capitol grounds there at the California State Capitol in Sacramento. So you're welcome to join us there for that. Also, we have the legislature starting up in California here. We've seen a number of bills introduced in January so far, but we've also seen quite a number of bills gutted and amended from last year, and some bills from last year that are moving forward. And so we've been working on analyzing those new bills and the amended bills to see how they would come and impact private homeschooling. AB 767, as you may have been tracking with us this last year, AB 767 deals with the placement of sexually violent predators, and that bill has been amended significantly to change it so that it does not negatively impact the privacy of private homeschoolers. And I'm really grateful for that. The bill did pass through committee a couple of days ago, the Public Safety Committee, in its amended version. So grateful for that amendment and looking forward to working with the author on that bill as it moves forward, because I'm glad that it's come to a solution that doesn't negatively impact homeschool families and their privacy, because that bill and some previous versions from this author and others have had the inadvertent repercussion of publishing all of our addresses on the Department of Education's website publicly, and we don't want that. We don't want our addresses posted everywhere, so we would prefer to stay off of the website and just be able to file our private school affidavits without them going public. So with that, we can just keep praying for the legislature, and also for us as we continue to monitor the legislature and read through and analyze legislation as it comes through. We have sort of 4 steps that we go through, and when we're watching legislation. We start with detecting, then we move to analyzing, and then we monitor bills, and we intervene in them when we need to make changes to them or call you for help, and getting involved in advocacy to ask legislators to vote no on something, or in some rare cases we ask you to vote yes. But in all these cases, we have to first, at the very outset, we have to find the bad bills. We have to detect them. So detect, analyze, monitor, intervene. That's what we do here at FPM. And that first step, detect, is what we're looking at now. We're detecting things. We're going through all of the changes that have been taking place in recent weeks, and then we are analyzing deeply certain bills to find out how exactly this will impact homeschool families in California. So be praying for us as we do that work, and that we would have wisdom in knowing how to prioritize which bills to read first, and that we would have clear understanding in what they do. Pray also for our interaction with legislators and for our relationships with them, and also pray for our Capitol Day that's coming up this next week. Wednesday, we will be visiting all 120 legislative offices and presenting them with information about homeschooling and how that works in California. Legislators and their staff will be able to meet face-to-face with homeschool families, and it's a really great opportunity for our families to learn about government, learn about their own legislators, and for legislators and their staff to learn about homeschoolers and homeschooling in California. So be praying for that, be praying for all those interactions, that those things would go smoothly and that they would be used for good for homeschool freedom in California and across the country. So with that, thank you so much for watching. See you again next time. Thanks for joining us for this episode of The Front Line with FPM. For more information about the topics we discuss here, check out Family Protection Ministries at fpmca.org and subscribe to our channel.